Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha. Okay, we are doing the part of the four seals and the gross, the impermanence. All composite things impermanent. Here we're talking about the two kinds of impermanence, gross and the subtle impermanence. And also we can classify the impermanence in another way, three ways. The one generally standard way of classifying the impermanence into two is the gross and the subtle impermanence. Now, the impermanence in three ways. We can classify the impermanence in three ways. That is, the impermanent phenomena, which whose continuum will automatically come to an end. Whose continuum, impermanence, whose continuum will automatically come to an end, which is very close to what we learned about the gross one, but here is slightly different. Impermanence whose continuum will automatically come to an end, for example, like 2017. Whether you put effort, not put effort, you can't stop it, it'll automatically end 2017. Another class of impermanence whose continuum never comes to an end. Whose continuum never comes to an end, whether you put effort, not effort, for example, like time. You cannot bring an end to time, you cannot bring an end to your mind, you cannot bring an end to the self. This will all continue, although they are impermanent. This is number two. Number three, if you don't put effort, they'll continue. If you put effort, we can stop. Can you give me an example? Exactly. Ignorance and all the miseries that we go through. The miseries go through. Let's say the misery which you had, like when you were, or last life's misery. Last life misery came to an end. Whether you put effort, no effort, it came to an end. But misery in general, ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, and the miseries, they will never come to an end on their own, unless we put effort. If you put effort, they'll come to an end. If you don't put effort, it'll continue. It'll continually perpetuate. So three kinds. Because of that, the fact that our suffering belongs to the third category, in a way is a good news that we can bring an end to our miseries if we put effort. So how can we bring an end? What kind of effort to put to bring an end to the miseries?
Learn to study the emptiness, the wisdom of emptiness.
Okay, first we have to know what are the causes of these miseries, what are the causes of these Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. All phenomena arise from causes. We have to locate the cause and then identify the cause and bring an end to the causes. What is the final cause of the suffering? Self-grasping ignorance. Right? Self-grasping ignorance. Okay. And how is it that the self-grasping ignorance is a final cause? This we will learn with example. Little later as a part of the third seal. Third seal. What is the third seal? Everything is of the nature of emptiness, selflessness. So as a third seal, we learn how ignorance is responsible for all our problems. Right? How ignorance is responsible for all the problems. Now, the point is that ignorance, knowing that ignorance is the cause of all the problems, so we have to get rid of the ignorance. How to put an end to the ignorance? How to stop the ignorance? By developing the counter force, which is the wisdom of emptiness. So therefore, the wisdom of emptiness is so precious. And in Buddhism, the Buddha emphasizes so much on cultivating the wisdom. Buddha emphasizes so much on cultivating wisdom of emptiness, which means that we have to say, we have to have a sense of rationality, sense of reasoning, sense of objectivity. This is so precious indeed. So therefore study. And some people may think that, oh, I'm not really good in studies, so therefore the Buddha emphasizes so much on study, I'm not ready for this. This is not true. You think that you are not good at it. In actuality, it's not that you are not good at it. We all have the potential to understand the sophisticated philosophy. We can understand it. Okay. So the job is to understand the wisdom of emptiness. This is the point. If you understand the wisdom of emptiness, if you get the wisdom of emptiness, then the opposite for when it is dark, what do? You introduce the light. You introduce light. When you introduce light, the darkness will automatically disappear. Right? So when the wisdom is introduced, then the ignorance automatically disappears. When the ignorance disappears, it is like the root of the poisonous tree with innumerable poisonous leaves growing there. However, innumerable poisonous leaves, they are growing there on the tree. And the poisonous leaves, from the leaves, the wind blows, and you have skin rashes. You have the skin rashes. So, some people may try to remove the leaves, remove chop the top, the leaves. And you may be free for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And again they will grow more. So it's just a temporary relief. If you want a permanent relief, what should you do? You cut the root. If you cut the root, however millions of leaves that were on the top, they'll all dry automatically. Likewise, you cut the self-grasping ignorance, all our miseries, however millions of the miseries that we're going through, will come to an end on its own. Okay, so the self-grasping ignorance has to be gone right off. This is the best way by which you bring the end to the suffering and the cause of suffering. So, impermanence, 3 kinds. The third kind, which is, if you put effort, it will come to an end. If you don't put effort, it will continue, it will perpetuate. Right? This is the third kind of suffering. Okay, with this, having said this, now we move to the second point. The second point is, what is the second seal? All contaminated things are of suffering nature or the nature of the miseries. Okay, good. Now, from each of these 4 seals, they can link to each other. The first link, all composite things are impermanent, is linked to the second. All contaminated things are of suffering nature. And this is linked to the third. Everything's nature, emptiness, selflessness. Third is linked with the 4. If we don't know the link, then we don't understand, we could not appreciate the 4 seals so well. So with the first, we realize that all composite things are impermanent, including body, including mind, including world. So we see that we, the self, I, the body and the mind that we have, they're impermanent, move so fast the way I described to you. If you really meditate on this, in fact, I don't know about today, nowadays, but in the past, there are many people who actually spend their time going to the wilderness, going to the mountains, to actually meditate on subtle impermanence. Just on impermanence. Okay, with this, then the fear, the fear and sort of urgency builds up. A sense of urgency builds up. So with this, with a sense of urgency, then what will they do? What will we do? Urgency of what? Urgency by going to by understanding the second seal. All composite things are impermanent. Because everything is all composite things are impermanent, your body, your mind, yourself is simply moving so fast. Moving so fast towards what? Towards what? This is a question. Say, imagine that somebody throws you into a very fast moving train. What would be your reaction, emotional reaction? You're right? There was a tremendous fear coming in you. Where is this train taking me? Where is this train taking me? Right? So, the question is, where is this train taking me? Who decides where this train will take you?
Not me.
Who decides? Who decides?
Driver.
The driver decides, yes. The driver decides. So, if the driver is under the influence of the kidnappers, the terrorists, then this train will take you to slaughterhouse. Whereas if the driver is under the influence of your mother or father, it will take you to a picnic spot. Whereas in that case, what is the driver? Our mind. Our mind is the driver. It's moving so fast, and what this mind is under the influence of not positive, virtuous mind. This mind is under the influence of the contaminated mental states, the worst of which are self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. So this mind is under the influence of these contaminations, self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. And the 4 days, in the course of the 4 days, we have to make a distinction between what is self-grasping ignorance, what is self-centered attitude. We have to make the distinction, and we have to know the respective remedies. How to get rid of self-grasping ignorance, how to get rid of self-centered attitude. These two are very different. Okay. Now, if your mind is under the sway, under the control of these two demons, these two contaminations, self-grasping and self-centered attitude, it will only take us to miseries. So the second seal says, what's the second seal?
Suffering.
All contaminated things are of suffering nature. Which means that as long as our mind, impermanence, all composite things impermanent first, including mind so fast going, under the sway of the contaminations, will only take us to miseries, not to picnic spot, only to miseries. Right? What kind of miseries? Miseries, there are 3 kinds. Miseries for suffering, there are 3 kinds. What are the 3 kinds of suffering?
Suffering, change,
The first one is?
Suffering from suffering.
Huh? Yes, suffering, misery, same.
Okay.
Yes, what is the first?
From suffering.
Suffering of suffering.
Suffering of change.
Suffering change.
Suffering from all pervasive suffering.
All pervasive condition suffering. Okay. Who are present during the last the talk? Last 2-day retreat.
Yeah.
Shosh and the Miri.
Only on Friday, yeah.
Okay, only Friday, the first day. Okay, others were not there. Okay, so the point is, we have to know what these 3 sufferings are. Right? We have to know what these 3 sufferings are. First is suffering. What do you mean by suffering? The first one.
conventional suffering. Everything that we define as suffering.
Like what? For example?
Headache.
Exactly. So the manifest suffering.
Mood,
The-
wound, everything that we describe.
Yes,
define
what we could easily identify as suffering, these are the suffering of suffering. The first one, all manifest suffering. Okay, number 2, suffering change. What do you understand by suffering change?
Everything we are.
Old age.
No. This is
No.
suffering.
Change.
Everything we love. Everything we love.
Everything
Everything that seems like happiness.
Like chocolate.
Let's say all mundane happinesses. In other words, all the happiness which we consider as happiness, they're all suffering change, right? Okay, what is bait in the Hebrew? Pita. פיתיון, פיתיון.
כן, זה פיתיון.
פיתיון.
פיתיון. כמו שאתם לדעתי.
Yes, yes. Okay, suffering change.
Suffering change of when you stuck, also when you stuck on something, on bad things, it's also suffering.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
You're stuck on something bad,
Yes.
you went a lot to bad things to suffer, and you change to good, you also suffer.
That's true, that's true.
It's also continuing.
Okay, so basically first we have to know what is suffering change. We understand the meaning. Once you understand the meaning, then you have to say whether something qualifies this or not. Right? Suffering change. In fact, this is amazing. If you don't understand the second level of suffering and the third level of suffering, then our renunciation becomes very shallow. Right? Our pursuit for Dharma becomes shallow. Of course, a shallow pursuit of Dharma and without any pursuit of Dharma, shallow pursuit of Dharma is much better. Even that is much better. But when we do something, why don't we do something meaningful, right? Of the greatest meaning to the best you can. So the suffering change, if you understand this, and of course it is not that we learn it today and then tomorrow we realize this. We can't expect this much, right? So we think about it, think more. As we become older, then we realize what we have intellectually understood during your earlier days. You understand them better. And then as you become age-wise older, your mind becomes happier. If that happens, this is Dharma, right? This is so precious. Okay, with that in mind, the suffering change, all what we consider as happiness, we ordinary beings consider as happiness, or in other words, mundane happiness. And of course you will ask me, what is supramundane happiness? You will ask me that, right? Okay, supramundane. Okay, one is the mundane happiness, which we consider as happiness. These are all what the Buddha classified as suffering, and not because Buddha classified, because it is suffering, right? It is suffering, and the Buddha discovered. Buddha did not invent. Buddha did not create a rule. It's just what the Buddha discovered. This is the beauty of Buddhism. Buddha discovered things, not that the Buddha dictated that these are suffering, so you are not supposed to have it. This is not what the Buddha is doing. Buddha discovered it, and Buddha was sharing with us that these are the suffering. I've discovered it. But for that, we have to know how they are suffering. Not because the Buddha said it. Okay, how? This question. So how, tell me, how what we consider as happiness, for example, the good lunch, experience of good lunch is suffering how?
They stop us from seeing the truth and wanting to renounce. In this way, they cause us suffering.
Okay, so why should we have to renounce it?
Because in the end, this happiness, either they change, they end, they bring suffering on their own.
How?
But we don't see, because they have the tendency to end. They don't go forever.
No, let them end is fine. What you enjoy this, and then when it ends, no regret.
But then we are looking for more and more and more.
Not necessarily. Some people, they're very intelligent, very smart. Alcohol, they take one shot.
Short.
Or they take one shot and then finish.
So it's not suffering.
So is it not suffering?
No.
As long as you know the border, then it's not suffering?
No.
I'm saying that altogether, all this happiness are preventing us from seeing what we need to do, what we want to do in order to get into the...
So the question is how, right? So the point is that whatever we have to gain conviction what we are saying.
Maybe because I'm dependent on them. It's
So those people, the same thing. Don't forget it. The same thing. Those people who know the moderation. Who know moderation? No, they didn't. They take the first shot and finish. The second shot you offer, you insist they will not take.
They're looking for
they're looking for?
Those things to enjoy from.
It's fine. So what's wrong with enjoyment? What's wrong with enjoyment?
Wake up anything.
So it's okay.
I think that
This is so important. We must gain conviction in this. We must gain conviction. If we don't get conviction in this, then emptiness, then it becomes interesting topic. It's not valuable topic. Interesting and valuable, these two are different. If you know these things, if you gain conviction in this, then emptiness you will not see is you will not only see that as interesting, it's so valuable, you will cherish it. Yes.
I think that every time I enjoy something, I enhance my own view that that the pleasure is coming from the object. I tend to think that it comes from there, and whenever I use it and enjoy it, I think that it comes from there.
So what's wrong with it if it comes from the object?
It's wrong. No, it's
Oh,
wrong.
what's wrong with it? What's wrong?
It's wrong. I don't. Why? It's because the nature of it, it's not
It's empty
coming
from the object.
From the
It
object.
doesn't
So
matter.
why?
But even though it is not from the object, we are going to learn that they're all like
Then
dreams.
it's okay to enjoy.
No, what we're learning, what we will learn is that everything's like dream, the third seal. Everything's like dream. Even though you know that is like a dream, not from the object, and you see this object real, you enjoy it, so what's wrong with that?
Nothing
No,
wrong.
it's okay.
Okay.
Buddha enjoys ice cream. It's fine.
It's fine.
If Buddha
No,
loves
no, no,
ice cream,
no. The point is, in what way there is suffering this question? In what way this is suffering this question? Yes, Shosh?
What we said, it keeps us in samsara.
Ah.
Samsara, by definition, is not only happiness. Samsara, by definition, is suffering. So we don't have the motivation to renounce and change our.
Yes. So the samsara, right? So imagine. By the way, I don't know how many you have experienced, right? Say, even the dogs, they can understand it. The dogs, cats I don't know, dogs I've seen, and the wild animals. Once they sense, okay, let's see. Let's say, for example, the birds. If you put a trap, and trap means there should be some food there, and then the birds and the rats, do they go directly or they will hesitate to go?
Directly.
No.
No?
When they see the good food, usually it's very unusual. It's not common. The foods are not freely thrown there, so they doubt, right? There must be something behind. They go there, come back. They go there, come back, right? They go there, come back. You must somehow try. You must know this. Come back. They're wondering if this is pitayon or a real food. Even the animals, right? They're hesitant. They don't really go directly. They go there, come back. Go there, come back, right? And then go closer, closer, closer. Nothing happens. They think that this is not pitayon, right? Then they eat. And then the moment they eat, they're trapped, right? Now, the moment, for example, there are two rats. One is outside, one is inside, trapped. If the trap, somehow the second rat is released, right? You release like this, then the rat, will it go there again? Will never go. Right? It's pitayon. So therefore, the point is, the moment you see that as pitayon, you see this is so vicious, so vicious. It's very simple. It's very simple. Imagine that how many you have your boss and the senior boss in your work? Many people, right? They have the immediate boss and their senior boss. And the immediate boss has to report to the senior boss. And the senior boss, whenever sees you, oh Tamila, you are doing so good. Keep doing like this, right? Don't worry, anything happens, I'm always there to help you. And your immediate boss is so unkind to you, always rude to you, scolds you, deadline, right? And then, Tamila, if you are not so smart, you will think that your immediate boss is so unkind, and the main boss is very good, right? And then the main boss sometimes May comes, oh, the Tamil, this is your, I know today is your birthday. She gives you chocolate, and we are very happy from the boss. Okay. Then one day to your surprise, you come to realize that your immediate boss, was being scolded by the main boss in his office. Scolded for what? For not being strict with you. Main boss is scolding your immediate boss that you've been so lenient with me, how dare you do like this, firing at him. And then you are shocked, right? So why my immediate boss is so unkind to me is because of this main boss. Next time, he or she comes and says, Tommy, this is your birthday, this is your, birthday cheesecake for you. Do you see this as cheesecake or as the Patreon? You will not like it. Because what makes your immediate boss so unkind to you is not because of the immediate boss, because of him or her, right? So therefore we see that his gifts and these things are just to tempt you, not out of real concern, right? So later on, anything gift like this given to you, you would not appreciate it because you see them as they are. You getting it? Okay. Then, okay, what do you think? If this is the situation, there are such things happening. Right? They talk to you so nicely. Okay. Say, for example, the terrorists. For example, in India. In India, the hotel, Taj Mahal Hotel in Mumbai, it was, the blasted with the terrorists killing the guests and so forth. How old were these terrorists? Just 20 years old, 21 years old. What do they know? Right? Who sent them there? The masterminds. Where are the masterminds? Masterminds are hiding. They are not coming. They are not coming out, right? And they tell these young boys nice things. They are hiding. You getting it? And if you really meet these masterminds will perhaps offer you a cup of tea. Right? Cup of tea. And pretend as though like nothing's happening, being so kind, gentle. Actually, why these boys they behave like this is because of the mastermind. And if you realize that these people are the masterminds, then what impression you get? They're kind, smiling, or they're really very vicious. You will see them as very vicious. Likewise, the mundane happiness, what we consider as mundane happiness, and of course, this is not easy. It is through a practice. We have to constantly keep watching, observing it, impermanence, and then, more interestingly, how the mind works. We study it more. Then we see that we'll slowly then we'll be able to tackle these things. So with this, the point is that what we consider as the happiness in actuality, they are of the suffering nature because they are the ones which trap us in samsara.
How?
Okay, so because
What is wrong with eating ice cream and enjoying it?
No, Pitiyon.
Yeah.
The
Which-
ice cream,
No.
small amount is
No, listen.
Exactly.
Okay, so basically, did you first this much? Can we understand it? The point is that nobody forced us to be in samsara. Are we in samsara or are we in nirvana at the moment? Samsara, right? This is the first question. If you're in samsara, who forced us in samsara? Who forced us in samsara? Right? Nobody else forced us in samsara. There's nobody who with a gun, forcing us to be in samsara. It's our own mind which forces us in samsara. And imagine that if we come to hear that in the kibbutz Mayhem, Yagihan, right? If we come to get information that kibbutz Yagihan, it's full of the rockets from the neighboring countries happening. Will you go there?
No.
Will not go there. Right? Whereas we go there means that we know that there's no rockets flying there, right? So it's very peaceful. Something we try. Likewise in samsara, we are